Hi everybody. Today we are going to discuss about biology of tooth movement. Under this topic, we are going to study about physiologic tooth movement, the components of periodontal ligament and its response to physiologic forces, theories of tooth movement, tissue response to normal orthodontic forces, stages of tooth movement, what is orthodontic force, what is orthopedic force, and what are the deleterious effects of orthodontic tooth movement. Physiologic tooth movement. The definition of physiologic tooth movement is physiologic tooth movement designates primarily the slight tipping of the functioning tooth in its socket and secondarily the changes in tooth position that occur in young persons during and after tooth eruption. It is of three types. Number one, movement during mastication. Number two, eruption of the tooth. Number three, tooth migration. What is movement during mastication? The movement during mastication is transient. Once the occlusal load is removed, it reverts back to normal position. During chewing, the teeth tips slightly around the neutral axis as a fulcrum. The neutral axis is located between the middle and apical regions of the roots. Then eruption of tooth. Different teeth move in different directions during eruption. The maxillary molar moves mesial, mandibular molar moves mesial, sometimes distal also. The premolars and incisors erupts in the lingual and then buccal. Migration of teeth. This movement takes place to compensate for interproximal attrition and occlusal wear. It is usually slow, mesial and occlusally directed. Now we will study about the periodontal ligament and its response to physiologic forces. The periodontal ligament provides attachment to the tooth to the alveolar bone. The width of the periodontal ligament is approximately 0.5 mm throughout. The collagen fibers form the major constituent of the periodontal ligament. They are inserted into cementum of the root surface on the tooth side and into the lamina dura of the alveolar bone. Cellular components of the periodontal ligament include undifferentiated mesenchymal cells, fibroblasts, osteoblasts and osteoclasts. Nerve endings are associated with pain and proprioception. The PDL fibers are transeptal, horizontal group, oblique, apical group and interradicular fibers. During eating, heavy forces are loaded onto the teeth. These forces are not continuous but they are intermittent. The response to force can be observed both in periodontal ligament and alveolar bone individually. Force time less than 1 second, the periodontal ligament fluid is not compressed, but the alveolar bone bends. If the force time is 1 to 2 seconds, the periodontal ligament fluid squeezing begins and the tooth moves in the periodontal space. The formation of piezoelectric signals is observed. Next, if the force time is 3 to 5 seconds, the periodontal fluid are squeezed out, the tissues are compressed and the pain is elicited if pressure is heavy. The orthodontic treatment is a complex and wonderful process wherein one calcified structure moves through another calcified structure. That is, the tooth is moving inside the bone. The application of force system to the crown of a tooth produces a cascade of events within the periodontal ligament and alveolar bone. The final event which is responsible for tooth movement is a remodeling, which includes resorption of bone on one surface and deposition of bone on another surface. For the cellular changes to take place or to initiate remodeling, the force, which is a mechanical energy, has to be converted into a biological signal. The theories of tooth movement, under theories of tooth movement, we see something called as mechanical energy into a biological signal affecting a remodeling response to take place is called as transduction. Again, transduction means it's a process by which the conversion of mechanical energy into a biological signal affecting a remodeling response. Based on how the signals are elicited to induce remodeling response, various theories of tooth movement have been put forward. The following are the accepted theories of tooth movement. First is the bioelectric theory or bone bending and piezoelectric theory. Next is the pressure tension theory or the classic theory. The bioelectric theory or the bone bending piezoelectric theory says when there is application of orthodontic force, the alveolar bone flexes and bends. This flexing and bending generates electric signals that after the metabolism of bone. This is the basis of bioelectric theory. There are two types of electrical signals generated: piezoelectricity and bioelectric potential. The piezoelectricity is a phenomenon observed in crystalline materials. The deformation of the crystal structure causes displacement of electrons from one part to another. This flow of electrons causes generation of electric current. Both bone and collagen have piezoelectric property. The two features of piezoelectricity are quick decay rate. When force is applied, piezoelectricity is generated, which immediately goes to zero level even if the force is continuously applied. Next is the reverse piezoelectricity. When the force is applied, the crystals are deformed, electrons flow from one location to another, and electric current is produced. When the force is removed, the crystals, after returning to its original position, produce flow of electrons in the opposite direction. This is reverse piezoelectricity. The piezoelectricity produces a rhythmic and constant interplay of electric signals. It plays an important role in homeostasis of the skeleton. The bioelectric potential. The application of force will cause physical distortion of the alveolar bone, which is accompanied by bending of bone. The deformed bone becomes electrically charged. Concave surface take negative polarity and convex surface takes positive polarity. As a result of these electric signals, cell membrane receptors and cell permeability are affected, leading to a remodeling response. The bone is added on concave surface and it is resolved on convex surface. Pressure tension theory. It gives more importance to the chemical messengers as the stimulus for cellular changes to take place, and ultimately orthodontic tooth movement is achieved. The orthodontic force, when you apply the orthodontic force, there is a tissue trauma which releases first messenger, that is prostaglandin, which causes extracellular signals activation and conversion into intracellular signals by two pathways. That is second messenger. One is synthesis of CAMP and activation of calcium. Protein kinase enzymes within the cell. That is third messenger. The cellular changes, that is phosphorylation, causing remodeling of bone. Decreased vascularity and overstretching of periodontal ligament induces chemical changes and inflammatory type of response. The oxygen levels are altered. Because of inflammatory type of reactions, mediators like prostaglandins are released. The first messenger, the prostaglandin E, is the important first messenger. It activates the extracellular signals by binding to the cell surface receptors. The other first messengers are parathormone, that is PTH, substance P, and vasoactive peptides. The second messenger, the next step in cellular differentiation is conversion of extracellular signal into an intracellular signal. The conversion into intracellular signal takes place by two pathways, that is conversion of ATP into cyclic AMP, then opening of calcium ion channel and activation of calcium. The calcium and cyclic AMP act as second messengers. It takes nearly 4 hours of sustained pressure to produce second messenger. The third messenger, the cyclic AMP and calcium act on the protein kinase enzyme within the cells. The protein kinase enzymes are the third messenger. The protein kinase causes phosphorylation of the cells and subsequent differentiation and activation of osteoclasts and osteoblasts to produce remodeling. Tissue changes during the orthodontic tooth movement. It is explained under 3 headings: at the pressure zone, at the tension zone, and other areas like pulp, dentin, gingiva, and cement. The tissue changes at pressure zone are: if you apply the light force, there is a frontal resorption. If you apply heavy force, there is hyalinization and undermining resorption. Light continuous force. If you apply light continuous force, there is compression of blood vessels in the PDL, which causes altered blood flow, which causes the release of prostaglandins, which causes synthesis of cyclic AMP, activation of calcium, that is second messenger, the metabolic activity, then activation of the osteoclast. The frontal resorption. The first step in orthodontic tooth movement is activation of osteoclasts. The osteoclasts initiate resorption and they come in 2 ways. Some of the osteoclasts are derived from local population, where the others are brought from distant areas through the blood supply. The activated osteoclasts start the resorption process by attacking adjacent lamina dura and removes the bone. This is called as periosteal resorption or direct resorption or forward resorption. The resorption is initiated from the PDL side of alveolar bone and usually starts after 2 days. Hyalinization. When the applied orthodontic force is more than the capillary pulse pressure, that is more than 20 to 26 grams per square centimeter, the blood vessels get compressed or occluded, which creates an area of sterile necrosis, that is cell-free zone. Histological appearance of this area when viewed under microscope will reveal an area without any cells, and such an area is called hyalinized area, and the process is called hyalinization. It is a reversible process and the teeth will start moving again only after the bone beneath the hyalinized area undergoes resorption. The microscopic features of hyalinization are the disappearance or shrinkage of nuclei, that's called as pycnosis. Compressed collagenous fibers unite together but without cell mass. The collagen fibers gradually merge with the surrounding jelly-like ground substance. There is a destruction of capillaries and inflammatory type of reaction. The hyalinization usually lasts for 7 to 14 days, after which resorption takes place by undermining resorption. The undermining resorption or endosteal resorption or rear wall resorption or indirect resorption. There are so many names. The undermining resorption or endosteal resorption, rear wall resorption or indirect resorption. It was named by Sandek. Once hyalinization occurs in the PDL, the frontal resorption is not possible. After a gap of few days, the hyalinized zone will be invaded by the cells from the adjacent normal areas of periodontal ligament. The osteoclasts begin to appear in the adjacent bone marrow spaces and initiate resorption from the underside of the bone adjacent to the hyalinized periodontal zone. The resorption occurs from the underside of lamina dura and not from the inner wall of the tooth. Therefore, it is called as undermining resorption. There are 2 reasons for tooth movement to be delayed because of hyalinization and undermining resorption. Differentiation and activation of osteoclast from marrow spaces takes more time. Then the thickness of bone to be removed from the underside is more. The onset of resorption is observed after 12 hours of force application. The rate of resorption is about 10 to 15 micrometer per day. The tooth movement is efficient with frontal resorption, but clinically it is extremely difficult to avoid hyalinization and undermining resorption. The summary of tissue changes on pressure side. If you apply light force, there is compression of PDL, activation of first, second and third messengers, activation of osteoclast, resorption from periodontal side of alveolar bone, the action on adjacent lamina dura and the frontal resorption. The summary of tissue changes on pressure side, that is, if you use heavy force, what happens? The compression of PDL, occlusion of blood vessels, area of sterile necrosis, that is hyalinization, tooth movement is impeded, resorption by activation of osteoclast adjacent to medullary spaces, the resorption from the underside of the bone adjacent to hyalinized periodontal zone, that is endosteal resorption. So we'll see what are the tissue changes at the tension zone. It takes 30 hours for increased cellular activity to be seen in tension zone. The stretched periodontal fibers are reconstructed by changes of the original fibrils. The macrophages are found in great numbers. There is inflammatory like breakdown and rebuilding of fibrous elements. New unmineralized matrix is laid down around the parts of the fibers that are close to the alveolar bone. After some time, osteoid is laid down on the whole of the alveolar wall on the tension side. Osteoid is synthesized by osteoblast and rate of bone deposition is 30 micrometer per day. The tissue changes in and around cementum. The areas of osteoclastic resorption may appear in the cementum adjacent to periodontal ligament, which are repaired by the cementoblasts either during the process of the tooth movement or during the rest period. The tissue changes in the dentine is the resorption in dentine is rare. The tissue changes in pulp with mild force, hyperemia of pulp will be evident. With the extreme force, it will cause degeneration or necrosis. Tissue changes in and around gingiva is the gingival tissue get adapted to the new position of the tooth, but it takes a very long time. So under the topic of biology of tooth movement, we studied different theories of tooth movement and different types of forces and the tissue changes when we apply light force and when we apply heavy force. Tissue changes on the pressure side, on the tension side. Keep watching these videos on YouTube and please subscribe to my channel for further updates about orthodontics and orthodontic classes.